Okay, everybody.
Perfect.
Thank you for coming. And I know we are all humans, but I feel a little bit excited, a little nervous. Just accommodate me. So let me introduce my background a little bit. I was in the industry for 10 years. I'm a software engineer working in the industry, but later on I started the full-time teaching and teaching computer science. And this institution that I work, Champlain College, is hands-on. We have small class sizes, and we would like our students to, when they leave the class, they have some experience. They tried out stuff, and then they get some feedback. So we are trying to cut our lecture time to shorter, and then activities, and shorter lectures and activities. So that's how we do. And during this time, the story I need to tell you, I'm teaching several, intro classes and also upper level classes. One of my class, we are doing software refactoring. What is software refactoring is, you have code which is a little bit ugly and hard to read and understand. It does what it does, but it is not human readable. So I give this code, and then I ask my students to make it better so we can read it. And then they submit to me, and I grade that. One of my students approached to me, and I said, you see all the other student submission, but we don't see, and we don't get any feedback because there are different ways of solution to the same problem. I said, this is great, and then how can I do that? So I'm using learning management system called Canvas. So there was a discussion part. So we can have our solution, we can post our solution there, and others can see and reply. Actually, in the industry, this is a common practice called code review. So it is nothing to, put in your work and to be criticized. It is your baby. People can say ugly, but that is okay to accept in our software engineering work, because you may be writing some code which is very critical, and maybe many eyes should look at it and then give you feedback. If you are doing something wrong, you may cause tragedies. So much bad things. There are so many examples. I don't want to go into that. So we titled this Learning Together. My partner is Ren Powell. He is one of my students, and I'd like to thank Learning Together, a case study, what we have done. My slides are wrong, but I try to hide some of them, but I guess that because of the time, I'm going to hide more. And let's a little bit look at the background. I don't want to spend too much on peer learning, but it is helping your fellow students to succeed. So this is it is giving a lot of different perspective, not just from the faculty, from student, and also you learn while providing feedback, because you are exposed to different solutions, and then when you are giving feedback, you also think, and then if you are if you see some different solution which is better than yours, you learn something. And if it is exactly same or similar, you think maybe you are on the right path, but you're not sure, but you could be on the right path. Or if someone is really poor, they will get feedback and they can improve themselves. And this can be nested replies is possible. And I'm skipping this because of the time thing. So our research, research came afterwards. Actually, I wasn't planning to publish this at the very beginning. But later on, I did some surveys to get information for me to understand whether this experience is really worthwhile and I'm doing something for them, and is it really working? So later on, we turned this into the research. Actually, there was a previous presentation. I just didn't follow any of those good suggestions because I wasn't a SOTL researcher. But now I just joined this club. This is based on computer science curriculum. This is introductory and intermediate level classes we applied. Classes involve writing and assessing code. So adapting existing curriculum, the good thing is, because generally this student collaborative classes is planned ahead and the curriculum developed accordingly. But I don't have that structure. I inserted this without, I don't need to start from the scratch, which is sometimes no-go, but this is just part of my life now. But it is just a taste. I mean, it is not dominating everything, but it is a taste. why I needed this, you understand the initial thing is student request. But later on, this become, I'm sorry. My students are started to, started to request these kind of activities. So I see I'm on the right path. So working on existing assignments, you can turn into existing assignments. I'm going to give you a real taste of what I'm doing in the future. Exposing students to alternative solution. This was my goal. Broaden understanding of approaches, because if you have 20 students, you have 20 different solutions. Allow experienced students to share expertise. Allow learning from peers' mistakes. This is also good. If they are making mistakes, you learn from it when you are providing feedback. Minimizing changes to the curriculum. We don't, minimizing burden on students and instructors. So you can apply this. It is very practical and empirical. So let's have some taste what I have been doing. This is, I just screenshot and I just removed the student's name. And this is Canvas. If you are familiar, this is a discussion. I put 2 tasks, give the instruction, I have put some code, they need to fix it. So they will submit their solution. They can submit 2 ways. They can reply it, copy and paste their code if they want. They can use Ripple it. There's another online tool to submit. And this task 2 is feedback. So they have to provide helpful feedback, at least one. I have to fix this sentence, these wordings. I was using it like a critique, but it is not a good thing. So I ended up on help feedback. So they need to provide at least one of their friends' submission. And so these are some of the submission and the comment. For example, this student is really heavily just replied, maybe I don't spend that much time to reply of one of the submission. And the other one replied him to thanking for the feedback. And then he's saying, I didn't even think breaking up, blah, 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 it goes on. And another feedback he got, your output looks great and exact it should be, and they give feedback. Another page is, I think you may have messed up somewhere. So you see the wordings are a little bit more, more, what is that? They are more free to say. I cannot say these kind of words, but they can give. And the another one is significantly better than my code, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of good feedback. And sometimes I can get like this, looks good. When I am, also there are more feedbacks they can get. So let me go on. This is the way how it works. So they submit everything through either online some link or just they copy and paste their code. So methodology and overview, I got this data from my 8 programming classes. Assignments had a peer assessment component. Students required to leave a comment for a peer. Quality and quantity of feedback was not graded. So the grading rubric, if I go back to a little bit back slides, I didn't show, but I have one grading rubric. It is, this is over 10 points. Here it is. So if they submit their solution, they get points. If they submit feedback, they get points. So I don't judge the quality of the feedback, but the code is so simple, they can do it. If it is not working, of course, they don't get point. But if it is working, I don't, deal with tiny nitty-gritty things. Since I have assignments and labs, this is different than those things. This, as I called, activity. So it is during the class time. If they cannot finish, it becomes their homework. So I was here, I believe, yes. Students could see peer submissions only once they submitted their solution. So they will see like empty, no one, like they see they are the first to submit, but when they submit, all others can be seen. Canvas provides that options. So there is no kind of copying and looking at others' code beforehand. So when they submit, they start seeing others. And so I use Canvas learning management system for this. And, I am not worried about getting any question during this time. You can open your mic and you can interrupt me. I'm just, bombarding you. But this research methodology we use is we classified amount and type of feedback. Other studies use classification systems, mostly focused on written prose. So writing classes maybe more lending themselves to do these kind of activities, but it is not translated to the computer code. We identified 3 categories. One of them is suggestions, the other one compliments, the other one is criticism. So suggestions are, as you see, you can do these kind of things to make it better. And compliments is good job. This is fantastic. It is better than my code. You use this one appropriately. I didn't use that one, so I didn't think of it. And criticism is also possible. As you say, you messed up. They directly start the sentence like that. These categories emerge after initial review. So we didn't think this ahead, but we look at all the feedback that students are providing. We come up with these 3 categories. So we separated comments into feedback units. And then I created an optional survey. I didn't force, not everybody filled it, and I got answers. And then these some of the results I'm going to show you. So it is completed by 46 students. It is not that much significant, but we have a small class sizes, like top 20 has the cap to one-to-one attention. So let's see the results. So we, totally 287 criticism we got, 266 suggestions, and this many compliments. So you see the criticism and suggestion is high, but these are really good feedback because you learn from it. And this compliments is good job, admiration. So this is good. So you keep doing it so you can get still compliments and those kind of things. These are nice to hear and encouraging students. And my students reported this is not again significant, but what was their knowledge at the very beginning of the semester and where they ended up. Some students, just poor to excellent. Some students went, just from here fair to satisfactory. But most of them went over satisfactory, but this is the, like 4 students replied they didn't do much, in this class. That is, I guess, usual case. What students reported finding helpful? So providing feedback or receiving feedback, which is, this is not so helpful is this part, extremely helpful is this part, and very helpful and somewhat helpful. Looks like providing feedback also helping, but receiving feedback looks like more helpful. If you look at the blue part, is more helpful. Receiving feedback, some people say somewhat helpful, maybe because of the students' feedback or the language they use, those kind of things could affect it. How students responded to peer feedback, enhanced learning outcomes. Most of them said this is positive impact on them. Motivated me to set higher goals. Looks like it is good because some of them are, disagreement is here, neutral is here, but it helped if they wanted to have this kind of feedback. Prompted me to think more creatively. Yeah, these are all looks for me a positive thing. When I'm doing this kind of in-class activities. So let me check my time. 6 minutes left. I'm gonna move a little bit ahead so you can have a look at some of them. I'm passing this one, and we wanted to minimize changes. Student not instructed on providing feedback. No guidance was provided. Free to leave free-form responses, and could explain lack of detail in responses that's possible. Structured feedback could help. So these are some of the feedback, maybe we can do to improve. And I'm moving this one, future research, the conclusion. So, and our design met our goals. I can say I'm still using it in my classes, and upper level classes I'm using, lower level class, so it's all working perfectly because they are really exposed to different solutions. Because software engineering is kind of an art, there is no structured way of, no one, if I ask one of my students or even me, find a problem for this one, and if I write code, and if you come back 2 months later, ask me again, write again code, my code would be different than my first code. So we see for improvement, student engagement, quality of feedback, quantity of feedback. This experiment was a learning experience for me. And educators, okay, there's a question. Mary asked, what tool did students use to submit feedback to each other? Oh, yeah, no, okay. The question, Mary, thank you. I use a Canvas learning management system, and it wasn't anonymous, so people see each other. And you see who provided you feedback, and then who is code. All of them are open there. It is not anonymous. Encourage and incentivize engagement if possible. Use structured feedback. So that is up to you, but currently it works fine. But a little bit, educating your students about how to provide feedback could be helpful. But that's not directly their job. Whatever they feel they can, because they are using this is student language they are using, so they are sharing. But of course, setting the rules is good, important. They don't, just they don't start some bad conversation. Design collaboration first assignments. These are not, huge assignments. I call activities, but they have some percentage, like 10% overall their grade. These kind of activities they need to involve. And this is a good thing because I teach and then let's apply this. When assignment is enabled, they start doing it. I wander around, they provide feedback each other and continue teaching the next part of my lecture and another activities I'm opening up. So they learn it, they apply it. So it sticks more. And then we do lab on the next session when we meet. So it is different than this. So we are creating a culture of collaboration. So encouraging, back and forth discussion is important because sometimes there is just one reply, but no thank or no reply back, but sometimes really threaded replies. Incentivize students to engage, grade students on participation, that's possible, but I'm not doing it. Encourage replying to peers, ask clarifying questions, that would be another good thing. And structured feedback I mentioned, we can provide a template, specific questions to answer, prompts to respond to. This is possible. Of course, it depends on the structure of the assignment. So there are more ways of doing it, but I don't want to, this becomes so burden on me and impractical, so much details. So just I wanted to, just apply this free format. And currently with this, it is so practical, and I get really good feedback during at the end of the faculty evaluation. They give me feedback about these things, even though I don't ask. Actually, I cannot ask because this is a school-wide questionnaire. So they give me those kind of feedback. Teach students how to give feedback, what makes feedback useful. I am going to pass some of these things. Okay, 2 slides I left, and I have 50 seconds left. So yeah, promote students' engagement early on, encourage participation from the start, create positive culture of collaboration, foster positive attitudes towards peer learning, create feedback loop of encouragement. So I use industry experience in my class. I said to them, we have code reviews, so get used to these kind of critiques. And there's a terminology we say, every code is your baby. When someone critique, this baby is beautiful to them, not ugly. So be ready for those kind of things, because this will make you better coder, and you will make less mistakes, and you improve. You will write better code by getting this kind of feedback. And also I'm providing feedback. This is just between students. When I'm grading, I also provide feedback to them. That's all from me. Yes, Daniel, I just kept my promise.
Perfect. Great presentation, Murat. It's very nice to see this research and how you set up the question and the research is very helpful and very encouraging to other people to try to learn from this and to advance in how to improve learning. If anyone has questions, feel free to open the mic and ask them. Meanwhile, I wanted to ask you if you have in your class, you have the opportunity to maybe compare the results of in learning in your students with some other classroom that does not use this type of methodology. I am very curious because I am an economist as a profession. I have a degree in economics, and recently the Nobel Prize in Economics was awarded to some guys who have been working in natural experiments, experiments that are set up in this way that you can compare two things like a control group and a treatment group, and maybe to see the difference in these two populations in terms of, for example, effectiveness or
Yeah.
learning achievement.
Thank you, Daniel. Actually, maybe I should be doing it. It's a lot of work besides teaching, but it is rewarding because you are, you are organizing these things and then also sharing with other people. I shared this also across our campus, and then and this is I believe, it is working for me, for my class, and it doesn't take so much effort to put that. But that's a good suggestion. I would like to compare with another class how they are doing, and is it really helpful?
Yeah, it will be very nice to use those methodologies. I think the reference are difference in difference methodologies in order to try to compare these two groups, and it is very encouraging to see your results in this one, and make you wonder how to apply them in our own classes. It is a very nice presentation, and I see that there are no hands raised or anything else. I don't know if you want to conclude with something additional, Murat, since we have like 4 minutes to go.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to thank you for the attendees, and thank you very much for listening to me. And hopefully everybody, maybe you can, if you are teaching actively, maybe you want to apply this, that's my end result, actually, end goal. I'm an empirical person. Something should be useful and applicable. And I didn't do research for research. I did things, and then later on we analyzed that. So it is a little bit upside down, but that is what it is currently. Thank you, everybody. That's all, and greetings from Vermont.